What's up everyone, it's Magic here, and today here in beautiful Italian land I have for you a new APS-C camera from Sony. This is Sony A6700, a long-awaited successor for A6000 line, and I'm gonna break this down for you today. Tomorrow I'm gonna shoot a wedding, so I'm gonna also take a few wedding snaps with this little bad boy, and also you might see this little weird vignette here on my video. This is actually, I am using a 15mm APS-C lens on my A7S III, which I kind of really like. I might crop in so I can remove a slide of that vignette, but still it gives me a nice, very wide angle vibes on my full frame camera. Okay, so what do we have in this tiny package is a APS-C sensor, 26 megapixels. So we do have a slight bump of megapixels. Either way, it's a beauty of a camera because it's just packed with features. The autofocus system is actually as good as the Sony A7RV. It does have these AI, tracking systems from A7RV, so it does recognize different things like cars and trains and people, obviously, and birds and insects. And trust me, I've been shooting with dual A7RV systems for a while, and the feeling of shooting A6700 is pretty much the same in terms of autofocus and how camera tracks and just basically usability of the camera. The difference being, of course, lighter and smaller setup, an APS-C sensor, not full frame. But with wide lenses, I think you can get away with that. But more on that in a separate video. Here you can see how tracking works on human. It does recognize the face, even if the person is turned back to you, which makes it super quick then to acquire the focus on the eye when the face is facing you. So yeah, having used that like at a wedding scenario along with my two A7R5s, it felt exactly the same. So I didn't feel like it's lacking something in terms of the speed or performance. I could even feel it's quicker because it has 11 frames per second versus 7 frames per second on my Sony A7R5s. I just shot couple snaps with this camera at the wedding. I couldn't edit them because the RAWs are not yet supported, but I want to make a full shoot with this camera, full like a couple shoot, and then compare it to the full frame photos. So if you're waiting for a video like that, it's coming to my channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, stay tuned for that later on. So what's interesting in the build of this camera, we do have like this new kind of dial version. So it is similar to what we had in A7 IV and A7R5. So we had this like bottom dial under the main mode dial that you can switch from video to photo to slow motion video, and then we have like the main mode dial that has like 3 custom modes as well. And then we also have like 2 dials here on the back and in the front for the functions that you do want to change yourself. They are customly changed, so you can do with them whatever you want. We have a viewfinder, we have a screen that tilts like this, so you can go selfie mode with this bad boy. And on the left, we do have, sadly, one card slot. I was hoping that we're gonna get like a full big change treatment and we will have a high-end APS-C camera. I still think that this camera is not treated by Sony like a high-end. It's just a hybrid photo video APS-C camera with all the newest stuff that Sony has to offer. Pairing this camera with A7C body, we have much bigger grip, which makes this camera much more comfortable in using. So if you know how the A7C feels, this is better. It's very similar, the body-wise, as you can see, but it's better. It has more custom buttons as well, and this new dial underneath the mode dial makes it really easy and nice to use. Sadly, the viewfinder is old. It's 2.3 million dot, which is the same as the previous generation, so A6600. I do feel like this is more of an updated A6600. So it's kind of not revolution. It's not high-end camera that kind of everyone was expecting and waiting for. It's more like, again, updated A6600, but with all the new stuff in terms of photo and video capabilities. And speaking of video, what actually I'm going to do right now is I'm going to switch my video recording to the A7600 because it has a glorious video mode. It can do 4K 50 with no crop and then 4K 100 with a quite a substantial crop, but it does have like all the newest features that you know from the video features from Sony. You have focus breathing compensation, you can load your LUTs into it, so it's even better than my A7S3 in this regards. Also has a Cinetone, so I'm gonna switch and I'm gonna use exactly the same lens and I'm gonna use exactly the same settings, so you can see how seamless the transition would be from A7S3 to this A6700. So here it is. Now I'm using A6700. Tell me if you see the difference. It's a beauty. So I'm using a 4K 50. I have a standard stabilization, but for APS-C, I think a standard should be really nice. And that 15 really works great here on APS-C. You can see there is no vignette. It's a beauty. Look at this light, by the way. It's freaking glorious. Sorry, I'm looking at the screen because I'm looking at it and judging as I record this for you. But yeah, actually it is perfect camera for vlogging. It's so much smaller and lighter than the A7S3, so I can actually feel that it's way nicer in the hand. I'm gonna change to the active stabilization right now so you can maybe see the difference. I'm gonna stop because I don't think I can go do it on a flight. Let's see. Oh, I think I can. Active, bam. This is it. Now I have active stab, 15 millimeters. I'm shooting at f2.8. It's pretty nice. S-Cinetone, so the colors, everything should be exactly like with my A7S3, which would make this camera a really great video companion for the A7S series. Damn, it's a beauty. I like it. It's just so light and tiny, and I can use that 15mm lens. Hear the shutter sound. It does shoot 11 frames per second. So what I think at the end does remind me of A7R5, which I shoot on a daily basis. You could see how quick it is to acquire focus and to track focus. So it's just have like all the tech that we know and we love from all the newest Sony cameras. If you are APS-C shooter, if you have APS-C glass, if you like having light stuff, if you like having reach, this camera is definitely for you. The price of this camera is 1,800 euros, I believe. I didn't have a full confirmation on the price. If I have it before I publish this video, I'll just put it here. So I do think that it's expensive, at least here in Europe, especially comparing to previous APS-C cameras from Sony that you can get from around 1,200, 300 euros. But you really kind of get the flagship features with this one. So even though it's not like the flagship APS-C that, again, we were waiting for, it's still pretty much packed with everything that Sony has to offer right now. Having 4K 50, 4K 100 even with the crop, like amazing photo features. I think this camera is everything you would want from a APS-C modern camera. Let me know what do you think in the comments, and I see you guys in a very next video. I'm gonna enjoy the Italy now. Ciao!